Welcome back to another review. We decided, you know what? Off the wheel it goes. Echoes of Destruction by W.K. Gorbet. We are going to read it. He's an indie author, and this is book one of the, I believe this is
First Matter Saga.
First Matter Saga. Yes, this is book one, just came out in July. So we're super pumped to get this. And also, he was kind enough to write us a little note. Pause to read if you want to, but it's for me, so don't read it. And it's signed. I was impressed by this.
Me
I
too.
enjoyed the book. There were
Very
a couple
unique
things.
premise.
Yeah, very unique premise, and I am excited to talk about it. There were a couple issues I think I had, but I think overall I was pretty happy with the book overall.
Listen,
Dakota,
if we're
grab
gonna
your
start
book.
here and be
We're-
aggressive and be real, if you were to put both of these books in front of me and say, "Do you want to read Catabasis or Echoes of Destruction?" I would say, "I want to read Echoes of Destruction."
Listen, I have a couple of my nursing textbooks still that I would rather read over Catabasis.
Sorry, hello. What?
Sorry, the people heard me. We're doing a cover review. Well, Dakota recovers from his Catabasis
That was clever.
outtake. Thank you.
I like
Anyway,
the cover a lot.
Cover reveal. I don't know if he hired somebody, if he did it himself, but either way, really enjoy it. I think it's cool.
The art's very unique.
It's unique. It's simplistic. We have like very clear things going on, but you can tell. Oh yeah, the back with the green flame, super awesome. The character. I mean, we're in a spoiler territory now.
There's a
Spoiler
one there,
territory
too.
now, but they have yeah, it's the first book. The different gods have different colors to their flames, as we learn through one of the characters, and you can see that kind of like transition a little bit in this in the cover. And I think that's really cool. Green is with the lion. Red is Phoenix.
For the Phoenix.
Purple
Red.
is wolf. Blue
Yes.
is bear.
I thought green was turtle, actually.
No, green was for sure lion.
I'm not
I
gonna.
don't remember
look
off the top of my head,
up.
but I think I'm right.
Really.
And I'm gonna die on that hill because I just feel like it.
And
Anyway.
then you'll be on a hill dead.
The
'cause you
cover
felt like
gets
it.
that invisible point that we don't give an actual point for, but you got the point.
Yeah,
I
very
think it's
unique,
cool.
very interesting. If I saw this on a shelf, I'd be like, that cover looks cool.
This is gonna sound weird. The book feels different than other books. It feels good. Whatever paper this is, Michael Scott would approve. This
The
is
pages too. I noticed that when I was reading, the pages are
good.
thick.
This is quality.
It is. It's really high
This
quality.
is good.
It's a very high quality book. I kept feeling like when I was turning the page that I was turning 2 pages because the pages are really thick. And it does
Yeah.
did you get that
this
feeling?
Actually feels like a paperback, like from reading from before in the dark ages, before like everything was like just mass produced shit and it was like the thin ass paper.
Yeah.
I think I have a copy of Iron Flame that you can see through the paper because it's so thin. And I'm like, why? I got this on release. Why is it this thin? But no, this is quality.
10 invisible points right there. Quality production, quality cover.
10 out of 10 on the production. Let's get into our well-developed characters. Dakota, would you like to start or follow up?
I will follow up.
I'll
I'll let you start.
Okay. I liked the characters. I don't think that there was a character I necessarily disliked. So I'm giving a half a point. My issue is I liked everything that was happening to the characters, like the storyline that the characters were headed on. I had a really hard time knowing who the characters were. I feel like we didn't get too good of an introduction. We were kind of just thrust into it, which sometimes works. Because you kind of figure it out later on. And some of these characters, like that was the whole point. You don't necessarily know who they are in the beginning, and you figure out later on that they're like, oh my God, this person's related to this person. But I felt like some of the main characters, besides like Hakoshi I had down, the Alpha I had down,
Ikari.
Yeah. But some of the other characters, I'm like,
his Cadmus is.
do you have 3 names? Are you 3 different people? I don't really know what's going on. So it made it tough at times, but I feel like all the characters that we did have developed, all went through something and had like an arc that was satisfied. So I think that's the only thing I would take off from that. But other than that, I felt good about it.
Yeah.
And also, I want to bring up what you texted me earlier, and I'll let you segue into this with Odin.
Yeah, I definitely felt like, is it Fulcanelli?
I put noodle guy because he sounds like a noodle.
You were thinking like fettuccine,
Like
and you were
fettuccine,
like,
yeah, a rotini.
yeah, I think it was.
Anyway,
Fulcanelli. Yeah, it was Fulcanelli. Oh yeah, he had an eye patch and he had ravens, and I was like, Odin, is that you?
I didn't even
So
pick that up until you texted that, and I was like, actually, that makes he's got the far sight
yeah,
and the pass sight, yeah.
yeah,
So what'd you give this?
cool little. Yeah, I gave characters a half point too. Really the same thing. I liked the characters and I liked their journeys and I liked their backstories. It was really interesting to hear. I mean, each of the characters was unique, but it was tough because there was a lot of them. And the way that the POVs shifted between the characters, I just kind of had trouble keeping up. Like the very first chapter was difficult when it was like you're thrust in and there's like a fight going on. It was cool. It was like a cool way to start, but it was I just had trouble keeping track of all the characters.
Yeah, I think my only like I'm not a writer, so I feel like I can't really give like
Writing
advice or
advice.
anything like
Yeah.
that. But I feel like there was so many cool twists and every character had one. But the problem is you can't have every character have one because then you don't have like a foundational character that you can like
Yeah.
ride to the end.
I could have gotten to know less characters more intimately, I think. Like I could have had a deeper connection with less of the characters instead of a broader connection with more characters. But
I totally called
potato
Cadmus being
potato.
some badass, like, retired guy. Like,
Yeah,
I just knew it. I just, like, had it coming. Like, from the beginning, I'm like, "Oh, this guy is not just some chill blacksmith." And he's like,
he
"Actually,
ain't just killing.
yeah,
I'm a warrior.
I'm Woodward Ogoitis. I'm Lorne from Red Rising."
Dang from Lorne. Rip Lorne. May he rest in
Um,
peace.
Also, we'll talk about it now. The Hemeldrick spikes at the end,
Yeah.
for sure, some Mistborn inspiration, maybe.
I was thinking that too when he was like, it's in the base of my skull. And I was like,
And he said that he had to put them in specific spots to get the specific effect. And I was like, wait a second, I've been
Mistborn?
pranked like this before.
I understand.
I understand it now. There's one thing I want to point out too that I bookmarked. It was a quote, saying, "I want you to keep it with you," Rowan said, holding the cup. "Next time we meet, we will do so as old friends." He gave Ikrai the cup to hold on to, and then they could like, if he dies, like they can use that cup in the afterlife to meet for a cup of tea. And I was like, that's
That's very wholesome.
really first off, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Love that. Big character move. And also emotional impact. Feeling that. Anyway, we're moving on.
We're
To
going to the next
originality and
one.
creativity.
Yeah,
What'd you
the
think, Dakota?
premise in this was great. It was very unique. The world, it was all unique. The premise was unique. The gods in the book were unique. It was cool. I don't have a lot to add because it was good. It was unique. I was drawn to the idea of the book and was drawn to the world and the powers.
So normally, like, I usually go into a book blind just because I'm like, I want to know as little as possible. I don't want to know what character does. I don't want to know
Yeah.
anything.
You're
Oh,
like,
this
don't tell
character
me
or
nothing.
this book has this tropes in it. No, don't tell me that. Just say if I'll like it or not, and then I'll read it. Um,
That's actually not
and
true.
for the most part, I eventually start reading the things you say. But you send me a new book rec every day, so your opinion is diluted.
It's my job to send you book recs every day.
I mean, you're not wrong. But anyway, I thought, and I'll segue this into the engaging storyline. So I gave this a full point, and I gave it a full point because of the uniqueness of the powers and like the gods having like an animal that manifests as them or whatever, and like there was like half god versions and full god versions, aeons versus oceans or whatever it was. But also, there's modern day that was like nuked essentially by these gods. And then now it's more primitive. So, like, at one point, they're using old tech, which happens to be new tech. So, it's like computers and looking shit up and teleporting is the old tech. And the new tech they're using is like spears and like crossbows and shit. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah,
engaging
there was like a
storyline.
great cataclysm.
Yeah, I thought that was cool that it was almost like a reverse of how things I feel like kind of go. Like I feel like most books start off like lower society and up higher society, like Mistborn era, 1, 2, 3. But this
Yeah,
one kind of was like, we already had that and we lost it. Now we're here. Which I guess is like Mistborn if you think about it at the end, the way they describe it. But
that's true.
that's just me reminiscing. But yeah, I think moving and engaging storyline. I think the whole time I felt like I was reading. I was really enjoying the
Yeah,
process.
I felt like every time I picked it up, it was like more powers and more like interesting stuff going on. and more like of the gods. And I was like,
The
this is
progression
cool.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to our story end and wrap up. What did you give it here?
I gave it a half point. I it ended and satisfied like the lines it needed to while setting up another book, but I felt like I didn't necessarily understand a lot of what the characters like motivations for their end goals were. I understand
Yeah.
what they were trying to do, but I didn't understand why they were trying to do that. I don't know. Like there was I'm trying to think of specifically who I'm talking about. Like I can kind of understand, I guess, what Alpha was. I actually don't understand what Alpha's trying to do. Like, so I guess I know he's the big bad, but also like we can kind of
Yeah. I
understand
think
what
he's trying
he's
to get his
going through.
immortal body.
Yeah, but like, what was Rowan's goal throughout all of this? He's also a super old dude. I know he's his brother. It just felt like a lot of it was told to us, but not described to us in terms of their goals. So like I know what their goal was, but I don't know why their goal was, if that makes
Yeah. I
sense.
think we actually have a slightly different take here. I more so felt like the ending was a bit abrupt, like it didn't have a linear climax. Like it just
I don't understand what
um
happened with the Phoenix.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like it kind of felt like I had like too many loose ends and like it was a little abrupt and didn't have like a clear like defining this is the end. Like there was the battle and everybody sort of came together at the end, but I didn't feel like it was clear like what was solved and where they're going from there.
Either way, we ended up on the same half point.
Yeah, half a point.
World building and setting. How you feeling?
This one was tough for me. I was definitely interested and engaged in the story and in the world and the premise, but I ended up giving the world building and setting a 0
Zero.
because yeah, I felt like at the end that I can't like picture, and maybe this is a me thing. I felt like in the end I couldn't picture the world. I don't really understand point A and point B, how we got from one place to the next, what the distances were. I kind of understood the powers and the different like godkin, but not like how their powers worked. Like what can each godkin do?
Yeah.
I felt like we got like this is a really interesting premise and a really interesting world that he started to develop. I just don't feel like I got much development in this book. And maybe in the future he's going
So
to do that, and I'd read future books, but I just don't feel like I got a lot of development.
so I would agree. I felt like we knew that like the Enochians or whatever, like there are five. Boom, 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 boom. These are the gods or demigods. And but we don't know what powers they grant. They all had like different versions of kind of the same power. Also, I didn't really understand the relics. I knew they were looking for them for some sort of immortal power, but I don't know why or where they came
Yeah,
from. And I don't understand the past in the cataclysm.
I don't really
Um
either.
so and also, I think I had a hard time, like you said, with like the visualization. I'm like, okay, each area is split up into a color, and I could kind of. Well, they described it at one point where it kind of sounded like North America was this one, Central America was this one, and South America was this one, and then broad Europe, Russia, blah 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 blah. This one, and then Africa, Australia, blah blah blah, is this one in like a broad sense. I'm like, okay, I kind of could see that. And then the way they described them, like they're moving through zones really fast though, so it's got to be at a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
But the cataclysm happened and made everything like short, small bursts of only small areas that were saved. So maybe it was like right at the border. I don't know. I was struggling a little bit. I I liked the world so much and the powers that they had. I just wish I got more understanding of it instead of like I feel like I was inferring a lot and then something would happen that was like not what I thought. I'm like, but I feel like that's how it was
Yeah,
presented and it was
I
it was a little bit of a problem either way. Yeah.
the teleporting made things a little difficult too because it didn't give us like a linear understanding of traveling this world and how to get from like one place to the next, because a lot of the characters were teleporting before we understood the region, and so they were like skipping around places, which is great and cool. It just made it didn't help the understanding. Like the Cadmus showing up was one of the things that was confusing because they walked for
I
like
don't
I
get
think
how
it
we
was
got
like
there.
yeah, I think they walked for like 10 days, like a week, 10 days to get from leaving the
The
village hidden in the
timeline was very
mists.
confusing.
Yeah, they walked for like 10 days, leaving the village hidden in the mist. Naruto reference. And
I
then
figured that's what that was.
and then I felt like Cadmus had a chapter with is it Cyrelia? Rowan's daughter, where he's like lamenting the death of his daughter. And then the next chapter, Cadmus shows up, and I'm like, okay, did he teleport? Because we were introduced to people who can teleport, so like he could have teleported to I'm gonna butcher his name, Sylvanus.
Yeah, Sylvanius? Sylvanus?
So like, did he teleport to him? Is that how we got Cadmus so fast? Because otherwise, like, how did he get there? Because it was
He can't even teleport. He's a
Sylvius.
phoenix. So he heals, but only himself. He was like the brightest phoenix that what's his name
Sylvius
had ever
was.
seen, and we didn't get to see anything about that. I thought it was gonna like come into his own when he like came across the big phoenix, and he didn't.
Same. So anyway, world building and setting was difficult. Like I said, very interested in this world. I just feel like I need to understand it more to give it more points here.
Agreed. Pacing and structure. I give it a full point for pacing, but a half point for structure. I think, and I struggle with this because I feel like it was there. Like the structure, like breakdown of the chapters was there, but we didn't get enough description in each chapter to understand how we got from chapter, 32 to 33. Like I feel like it kind of just is all of a sudden like, oh yeah, by the way, these characters zipped here somehow.
Yeah,
I
the
don't understand how
pacing.
they got there. Like I understand like linearly for the well, I don't understand linearly, I guess. Like, I understand when it was like, "Oh, yeah, this happened a couple days before," when it was, like, blatantly pointed out, but I feel like there was just some segues missing,
Yeah,
personally, to get the full point.
the
But
pacing
the
was
pacing was
good.
really good.
Yeah, I agreed with you here. I thought the pacing was really good. Like I said, there was always something interesting happening, and it wasn't like too crazy. There were moments that it had the proper downtime, so it wasn't like there's too much going on and not enough like character reflection. So the pacing was good, but yeah, the structure was tough because like I don't know, it was a bit clunky. Like in the beginning, the first chapter we get kind of felt out of place because we didn't really know what was going on yet, and then it immediately goes into like Ikari recovering, and then we start switching points of views, and it's just made it hard to follow the linear like story from start to end. So
I think the first chapter wouldn't have been so jarring if we eventually got all of their point of views that were there, but we only got 2 of them. 3, I guess. We got Cadmus, which we found out way later on that he was the one that saved him, and I was like, "Oh, I guess." But then we didn't get I guess we technically got the point of views, but, like, I didn't get how they all got like, it was very strange.
yeah,
Um,
it was a lot of similar complaints here as my like world building and locational understanding. Like I didn't understand how we got to places in the story. It
yeah,
felt
like,
like
who
we
was
got there
fighting who
quickly.
and why? For that first chapter. But I will say in the next category, emotional impact, I felt good about it.
Yeah, me too.
I felt a lot of the characters had like real raw emotion. I think, even though obviously I don't agree with, I don't know why this is obvious and why I'm saying that, but like Sylvianus's emotion was like, I'm a pacifist, I'm not going to kill. And then he overcomes that and it's like, actually, like, this is something I need to do to save like
Yeah,
people I care about. I thought that was big. And a lot
Cadmus's
of,
daughter, him losing his daughter and him being drunk because it's her
yeah,
birthday.
that was crazy. And I thought that I don't know, even I felt the emotion, like the pure arrogance coming off of Alpha, was like fed to us really real. Like I think that was
Yeah,
good.
Hikoshi's
Hikoshi,
reaction when Alpha like first mentions his dead love, and he's like,
rip.
"Don't speak her name ever again." That was kind of like
Also,
chilling.
I don't know if we know how she died.
I don't think so either. But
Maybe we find that out
Ikari blames himself.
as he should. Just kidding. I don't know anything
It's
about it.
all his fault.
You idiot.
You fool.
But yeah,
Moving
full
on.
point for that.
Yeah, emotional impact. We each gave it a point. Next category. I'm gonna go first. Writing style and prose. I liked the prose a lot. His prose was really good.
Yeah, big points. Big points on pros.
His prose was really refined for a indie author. It's really good. I think that's one of the biggest places that indie authors struggle is finding their voice and
I feel like
trying
he
to.
spoke like he's written before.
Yeah, it was
He's
really
got his
good.
doctorate in something.
Does he? That's actually kind of crazy.
You keep talking and I'm gonna look again. But I swear I saw that.
But yeah, I mean his style and his prose was great. I was thoroughly impressed. And normally you can tell really early on like what the prose is going to be like. And early on I was like, this prose is great. He's a good writer. He's a good communicator. Like it was very digestible. I could bring up other books to compare it to that I liked less, but I won't do that. I'll just say that we've read a lot of stuff this year where the prose was not as good as his prose. So
His page is after pursuing a career in the field of biochemistry and nanomedicine for the last decade or so. He is now putting pen to paper to write fantasy stories, occupying the far corners of his mind. So either way,
so
it's pretty
basically,
impressive.
bro's cool.
Science and shit.
Jesse Pinkman.
Science, bitch. Um, yeah, no, I agree. I get the full point for writing silent prose. I was very happy reading it. I didn't feel I was reading an indie author, which
I didn't either.
like sometimes you can just tell it's just because it sounds like just someone who's new to writing or generic person writing. But I felt like
Yeah.
this is very
Even
good.
even like really intricate moments, like the difference in voicing between a battle, an emotional moment, and like a reflective moment of a character are typically places that indie authors struggle to find their voice. Like there's another indie read I read this year, and one of my criticisms on it was that like his battles were written really well and really thoroughly, but that his emotional moments were kind of written more like YA. Like his battles were gory and like really in depth, and then his emotional moment was like, I'm gonna miss you. I'm so sad. And it was like I just was like, I think like you kind of had some trouble getting your voice, but not here at all. His prose, his
I feel like
writing
the
style.
complexity of it too was there. Like
Yeah.
there was some deep, complex. Like it wasn't YA fantasy. This is for sure like a fantasy. You know, edging on the side of trying to be a little bit more like epic fantasy type thing, worth like the extra added all that intricacies and things. It just wasn't. I feel like there wasn't enough meat there. Like if this was an extra, I don't know, this is asking for just a lot, but like give me like another 200 pages, but don't give me any more story, just give me more detail. And I think
Yeah.
this would have ended up being like
a 9 or a 10 out of 10.
yeah, like 2 points higher because there was so much to explore here, and because it was just a little bit short, we didn't get enough. But also,
Yeah.
not everybody wants that, but I feel
That's
like it
true.
needed it with the way it was written.
I'm excited to see where he goes. I think this is a like really strong out of the gate book for him. And,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
if,
I think
and
this
if,
is
I
the
think it's
like,
his first book, so like he can only go up.
and for a fantasy debut, this is kind of huge. I feel like it was something that I'm like, I am ready for book two. Even with the issues that we had, I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what's next.
Me too.
Meaningful
Me-
themes in depth. Speaking of, I felt like was there. I feel like there was a couple of characters that had like their character development, the things they went through, like Cadmus and everything was going with his daughter, and then like and his wife, and finding like, you know what, I'm retiring. I'm gonna find a peaceful thing. I'm gonna protect this village. I'm gonna be a blacksmith. And it's like he kept saying, it's like no matter what you do, like war is gonna find you. If you put yourself in that realm, it's gonna end up finding you back, and that's just something that is going to happen. And I think that that is just something people, I guess, don't get. Like once you're in something and like you know what you didn't know that you knew, now you can't unknow things type
Yeah, you
thing.
can't pull the veil back over your eyes.
It's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
in
there's a lot of.
healthcare. Scary place to learn
Tell
of
us all
what
about it.
happened. I would love to, except oh
Except,
damn, we're out of time.
yeah, there were a lot of themes. I mean, we saw Sylvius not wanting to take a life, and we saw Ikari being like a loner and having to come out of his shell, and we saw Cadmus's like guilt.
I feel like
There
it was
were-
big to the ends justify the means in this one too.
yeah,
With some of these especially like Ikarai was trying to figure out like he had a whole progression. He was just this hardened, like not criminal but hardened person in general. It was like
yeah, a hard exterior shell with a soft and gooey center.
a gusher. Anyway, rereadability and lasting impact, I give it a half point. I felt the rereadability, I want to be in the next book. I'm excited to see what comes out next. Hopefully we can be a part of that. Looking at you.
Keep us posted.
Keep us posted. Would love to be a part of it because I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the world, even though I felt like we could have gotten more, I liked what we got. Lasting impact, I don't know if there's anything for me lasting impact wise, but I am excited to get more. But this is our feel like our most subjective point here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna disagree with you. I think I'm gonna give it a.
Oh,
I think I'm giving it a full point here because I I think I both want to stay in the world, and it was a unique enough premise that even though I felt like I needed more world building for it to be well rounded, I liked the story and I liked the premise and I liked the powers. I've given it a point because I'm gonna be thinking about it. I'm gonna be thinking about like, wonder what these powers are. Wonder what more they can do. I wonder what the situation here is.
okay. Feel good about that. Well, then I think our RSQ total, I give it a 7, you give it a 7.5. So we're doing a 7.25 on the RSQ scale. Yeah, I felt like this book's prowess was in its originality and its storyline was very captivating. And then I just felt like it could have delved deeper in the details.
Yeah,
It was there. It just needed to be expanded upon, I think. And that would have
agree.
gave it the more points for us. But I definitely think that if you're looking for a easy read fantasy that's a fantastic debut from an indie author, this is going to be one of those books for you. And I don't have any conditional recommendations. I think this
No,
is a
me neither. I think
recommendation
it's
for
a
me.
I think it's a good book. I think it's interesting. I think we're very upfront about it being unique and being a captivating story that moves along and has lots of interesting things going on and just needs more details to get higher to get more points.
Yeah, I would agree. So that's gonna be our stamp of approval on this book.
There we
Thanks for
are.
watching. WK Gorbet, thanks for chatting with us while we are reading this. Thanks for being here, for sending us
Yeah,
these
thanks for
books.
including us.
Yeah, I'm excited we finally got to this. We saw it on the wheel and we hadn't been spinning it or anything really. So we're like, you know what? We're taking a break between books 2 and 3 of the Dinwiddie Dynasty. We're reading this book. I don't want to wait anymore. So we finally got to it. So thank you
Yeah,
very
I
much.
think I think he reached out to us in our initial indie post and was like, "My book's about to come out. If you guys are interested." I think that was at the same time that we got the like
Yeah,
4,000 other books added to our indie spreadsheet.
because he got to us at the end of June, and June was when we did our indie month. And he's like, "Hey, if it's not too late, my book's coming out shortly." I'm like, "We just don't have time. We have so many books." But he's like, "Let me send you it anyway. Read it when you can." And we're like, "All right." And here we are.
Here we are.
Very
Here we
happy that we
be.
read it. Next coming up, Dakota is reading his Sun Eater arc. I am finishing, almost done with my Ben Shankman, another indie author who wrote
The devil you know.
Yeah, The Devil You Know. I was trying to think of the name of the first book, My Boss is the Devil. Let Sleeping Gods Lie is his new book coming out, I think in November. So I'm excited to finish that up and give that a
Yeah.
review.
Sun Eater comes out November 2.
Yeesh, there's a lot of
Look at
shit
us
coming out.
go. We're arcing right now.
We
We're
are
on
arcing
Noah's
right.
Ark.
We are on Noah's Ark, and Noah is guiding us to the place of the second promise. So we're having a good time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
RSQ out.